Hello and welcome to the Enquiry podcast. My name is Nerida Mills. I am your host, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you along for this episode. What we do in the Enquiry podcast is really explore and inquire with experts in their field in regards to what it is that actually creates a human experience, and more importantly, what it is that we can use to influence the human experience for our own development, growth, and expansion. So welcome along. Let's dive in, and I hope you enjoy. Right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Enquiry podcast. I'm your host, Nerida Mills, and it is my pleasure to introduce you all to the lovely Kristy Borbas. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yes. Today, Kristy is an absolutely legend of a human being, and I'm really excited to be able to share her with you. Why don't you introduce yourself? Let us know a little bit about you, what you do, what you love, what's turning you on right now, or what's calling your passions forward at the moment.
Yeah, awesome. So, as Nerida said, Kristy Borbas, I have changed my name 100 times, changed the bio 100 times. But when it comes down to it, I guess I love helping women in midlife to reclaim sovereignty, their voice, their passions, their purpose, going through sort of all the things we go through at that, change of life stage. So, yes, in menopause, but also people go through divorces, change. They might want to be a business owner, leave a job, like all those things. Your kids grow up, they don't need you as much. There's a lot of life changes for women, and I love helping women in that sort of a bracket. And the way I do it is through ancient wisdom practices, rituals, my astrology, my tarot, but also like the ancient gods and goddesses. And that's where I get that Greek sort of alive in me, that Greek heritage, where we go through the archetypes and things. We've done some archetype work together. I love the feminine and masculine archetypes.
Yeah.
Then I also weave embodiment piece in there, same as you, with the, somatics, where it really is a lived experience and a felt experience. I think what I'm here to teach women is to fucking feel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so important, because I think that's often what we become so disconnected to. And yet, the feminine form is well and truly designed for sensation. I mean, both masculine and feminine, but the feminine more so, even more so. So
absolutely
beautiful. I love your work. This is why we get along so well, right?
Yes, exactly. It's just parallels, right? And then the energetics of like the identity change, which you and I are basically going through, right? All the time when we quantum leap and we do these scary things, and the podcasts and the books and the speaking events and all the stuff. So, it's really about big, bold confidence, but knowing yourself deeply as well. So, yeah.
So why transition specifically for you? Because obviously we've got the hormones and the things, but like you're saying, it's like it's even more than that. So it's a very specific focus on transition. Why is that important to you?
I think that especially with things like menopause and things, I have found that with society, they dictate more that as you get older, sort of 40s, 50s, it's almost like you're meant to be non-existent. You're meant to be even quieter. You're meant to take up less space. Like you're not birthing anymore. You're not really a mother anymore. So what need are you? And then, of course, there's that knowledge in us and that energy in us that actually awakens when we're older, because we start not giving a shit really about all the people pleasing and all the extra things that we have to do. And it just is really important that we transition in a way that, not thinking it's a closure or closing a door, thinking of it more walking into a temple, being initiated, and the rites of passage of moving into a deeper level of more power and more precision, I guess.
Love that. And so, because I like to find where the hook is, right? Because often there's the childhood experiences that has led us to have an importance on the things that we're really drawn to. So, like in your childhood, is there anything that you can associate to that feeling that you're now trying to resolve for women in their middle age? Like, was that birthed there for you, or what's your story with that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've been thinking about that, and I don't think it's in this lifetime. I feel more like it's a soul calling.
Yeah.
If I look at my mother, like we've always had a little bit of a hard relationship. She is someone who does something for everybody and puts herself last, but then is resentful of it. And there has been parts of my life where I've been like that too, where I've put everyone first and I'm not happy about it. So if anything, I've become more selfish And then with that, realize that I can give more when I am more selfish. So
Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
bit of that. And I think also intuitively, I've been around a few times and I really do feel it's this like calling from, I really want to get back to the community, sisterhood, how we all sort of lift each other up. We've all got a place, we all help each other, and we're all our own sort of oracles. Our body is the oracle, right? So that's sort of where I'm coming from. It's sort of ingrained in my body almost.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What do you see as the biggest misconception around this time period? Because I have
Look,
a
I
lot of
think,
friends, like, we're at the age, right? So, like, I have a lot of friends moving into menopause, in menopause, and just recently out of menopause. It's like the hottest topic in my circle of friendships right now. And, women at various different stages of that transition, grappling with both the symptoms of the body, but also the symptoms of the mind. So, and there's a lot of noise about it right now, which is fantastic because there's been a long time where there hasn't been any awareness or recognition of it. So that's a really great thing, but it can also be quite confusing.
yeah, absolutely. Because again, it comes down to we're all our own people and we've all got our own bodies. And I think, again, it comes back to the work that we do where you actually have to sit with yourself and go, I don't feel right. Like and even if the doctor says, oh, you can use this and you try it and after 3 months, it doesn't feel right. There's something else missing. And it's about us actually using our voice and like pushing forward for what we want. Maybe you have to find a new practitioner. Maybe you have to find a new, medicine or whatever it is. And, then you've also got I want to go natural and then shun all the HRT. And then you've got the other HRT who goes, well, I love all this. This is really good for me. And it's just like this, there is a lot of noise, like don't do that, do this, do that. But also you don't know what's going to work for you. You've got to, it's trial and error, and it takes a long time to actually, get to where you need to go. And that's why I think it's important to have these conversations, because the more women are open and talking about it, then the more easy it is to find other people and trial things out and be in something bigger, like a supportive group. And parallel to that is like, imagine if our husbands and our sons and our fathers and whatever knew what we were going through and could
Oh,
be there
my
to
family,
support.
I put my
Yeah,
family on alert. You guys need to start researching
yeah,
menopause because I'm
absolutely.
going through it.
Yeah.
You need to
I'm
understand.
exactly the same. I'm
Yeah.
teaching them as I go. And I'm like, and I'm not apologetic. I'm like, I'm going to be angry. I'm angry today. This is happening. And I'm going to do my anger therapy and whatever I'm doing, but it's not about you. And I'm telling them, you need to know this stuff. Because when my son finds a partner, if it is going to be a woman or, they need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas we didn't have that,
Mm.
now growing up and things like that. So I think it's really important that supportive networks are around us as well.
Absolutely. And, I'm very similar to you. I'm very unapologetic in regards to if I'm going through a natural cycle of something, then that is a natural cycle of something. Then, it's going to have, just like, I've got teenage kids still. And, when my eldest started hitting teenage years, like I started researching like a mofo, like I wanted to know what was normal, what was crossing the line. And what do we do if there's that line crossed? Like at what point do we need intervention, essentially, right? At what point have we swung too far? And obviously, children don't have the responsibility for that same level of education, but we as women have a capacity, and partners certainly have a capacity to research that and have a really great understanding of what we are going through and what our partners are going through, and then be able to speak it in really simple terms to our children so that much like when a teenager, their tonality shifts and literally everything that comes out of their mouth just sounds like they think that you're a piece of shit, like you don't take that personally because that's a natural normal stage of their development, right?
Yeah.
So, within the natural normal stages of a woman's transition through menopause or through middle age, let's call it, I think there's similar symptoms in that. But I also think even like with the anger and stuff, like one of the pieces for me around this, particularly if you look at it through the psychosomatic lens, it's like those symptoms are actually forcing you into a shift in your behavior, right?
Yeah.
Whether that is actually owning the fact that, yeah, I have been okay with this dynamic in the past. I'm actually not okay with the way that it is right now, and it needs to change.
Yeah.
And not being apologetic around that, not being necessarily like a crazy aggressive person around that either, but just honoring the fact that that's what's actually being called for without making it wrong. It's like, we're
Exactly.
allowed to change. We
Of
actually are
course.
supposed to change.
Yeah, we're cyclical beings, right? Especially women. That's all we're doing. The spirals continuing. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And what do you see as the gift of the middle-age transition?
I see the gift as an honoring of self.
Mm,
And I feel like it's that time where you really find your purpose and what you're actually here to do and your medicine. Um, and also you find a strength that you didn't have before. And for me, it's been more of the voice as well. So I think if we can start speaking more truthfully and standing in our power, then that will help other people on their path as
mm,
well. So I sort of feel like you get this inner power, and this, you do get more energy once you've sorted out what you might need, whether you need therapy or what you need to do. But there is another level of energy that's coming in a mature way, and also listening to less people but actually going back into self.
yeah. Yeah, I love that reclamation of self, essentially.
Yeah,
That's cool.
absolutely.
And so if somebody's like early stages,
Yep.
they're early stages, what are your what's your guidance around that?
I think to probably see someone that they trust, like a friend or something, maybe talk about someone that maybe it's a sister that's gone through it or something. But again, with my sisters, none of them had any symptoms, so that didn't help me. But if you are open about it and you ask people and what their situation is, because the thing is that happened to me is I got different symptoms at different times, and I thought that can't be menopause, that can't be. And then when you look it up, it literally is. It's like
Mm,
itchy scalp, like the most random things. It's
mm,
every single symptom, and you do think you're going mad half the time. So I think the more people that you speak to about it, the better.
mm.
And then start to investigate, like research and investigate and try things.
Yeah.
Don't just be like, nah, I'm not doing any of that, or no, I'm doing this or whatever. Just try different things and you'll find what works, and be gentle.
Mm,
Be gentle with yourself, because
yeah.
it is a massive portal, and some people don't get it because they don't have the symptoms and they find it easy.
Mm.
So they're not your people. If you're
Yeah, yeah.
going through a lot, find the ones that are also going through a lot,
Or have been through a
and
lot.
have a
Yeah.
community, like have a supportive crew.
Yeah. Now you've spoken a bit about how, a big part of your work and your medicine is really in that ritual kind of space. Where does that fit into this?
So, look, it's about honoring your own cycle. So, for me, I do astrology as well. So, I actually know my year and when I've got the most energy and when I want to launch things, when I want to do things, when it's probably time for have a holiday. So, I know all that. Plus, also, even if you don't have a bleed, there's still a cycle that you go through. So, if you have a bleed following that cycle, and when you've obviously ovulated, that's your time of your spring. So, knowing about those sort of things. So, more nature rituals as well, and then definitely with the moons and things like that. So, I think going back to what our leaders and our the women in our past
Mm.
used to fall back on, all of that sort of
Connecting to
stuff
that
is,
heritage, isn't it? I
yeah.
remember, like, I see this quite similar as to, I guess, how I saw becoming a mum, in the sense of, there can be some trepidation in that path. Going to have to push a watermelon size something out of my vajayjay.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt like a bitch. And so one of the things that really gave me a lot of strength in that was the recognition that literally billions of people have done this before me. And I think whenever we go into these tunnels of transformation, I mean, birth is obviously much shorter than menopause because you've got your 10-month gestation, but menopause can be more like what, 10 years for some people, right? But going
Absolutely.
going into that and having that connection to the lineage of women that have walked before us is so powerful because it really does help to initiate courage in those times of uncertainty. And it's a very much an extended void space. Like, I think a lot of people go through ego deaths throughout their life, but menopause seems to be one of the larger ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, That's really cool. And so are you on the other side at yet, or are you still on the
So
single?
I'm in menopause now. So yeah, I'm in it. I had peri I think what happened was I had my son later in life at 40. And I thought it might have been postnatal depression, but I think that was peri starting.
Right.
And then before I knew it, I was sort of in the peri throes there, and I had a few rough years when Hugo was quite young. So now I'm just, I'm in menopause now. So
you're technically like postmenopausal, right?
yeah.
You're a lovely crone. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel even with the crone, I feel like there's an extra one. Like I do feel crone is not me yet. Like it's more 70 odd with the long grey hair and, those sort of things. So I feel like Marga is where I'm at, which is
What is
like.
Marga? Can you explain that?
Well, it's like the mother maiden, and then people have said there's another one in there, Marga, or you can call Marga as a crone. But I just don't see I'm at that crone level yet. But I feel like I'm in the wise woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the crone is more the oracle, the all-knowing oracle, who you can imagine talking to your grandmother and she's handing down like this 100-year history and things. So I sort of feel like it's a wise woman sort of era is sort of where I'm at.
Is that part of the Greek mythology? That
it is some of it, yeah. And then we look at the goddess and the different energies and archetypes and things, and what I've worked with you on some of the archetypal stuff too. I love that. The masculine and feminine, I think that's really important in our lives to honour both.
Well, you come into partnership with both. That's my big jam. It's like
union.
One. If one is more powerful than the other, then both are actually suppressed in some way.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
So it's interesting. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing your amazing wisdom. And, I think, like I say, it is a hot topic for a lot of people in my circle at the moment because we're in it, in some way, shape or form. And if you're not in it yet, you're on your way, most likely, if you're a lady listening to this. So I think I'm really grateful for the generations that have come before us. And I'm, a little bit sad for like my grandma's generation. Obviously, they were really not given any kind of acknowledgement or respect around the transition that they were going through. My mum more so, and us, I think there's quite a deep honouring now, which is really lovely.
Yeah.
So it is nice to see what we're setting up for future generations as well. And, with the incredible work, like people like yourself, really bringing that ritualistic relationship to the cycles that are natural and normal for us to experience as humans in our lovely messy selves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in between all the school drops and all the things that we do these days, because we do a lot more than the ancients did, right? So it is really important to have that part of yourself as a special part where you honour and you do the ritual or you do whatever it is for you as well. Yeah.
So how do people follow you, get in touch, find out more?
Yeah. So on Instagram, Kristy Borbas, and also on Facebook. I'm sure you'll drop the links as well.
Yeah.
DM me, ask me any questions. I have got a 12-week program coming up. I'm going to be starting in April, which is called the 12-week, the Reawakening Reclamation. So if you're interested, give me a yell, and I'd love to have you and talk to you in there. And I'll be doing a lot more retreats overseas and things. So there's a lot of.
Your first one in Greece last year, huh?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so good. I can't wait to do more like at temples and things like that, and just really bring the work I do in those lands of the ancients. Like, just that's my jam. So reach out if you're interested and we can talk more.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for your time again. And I'm sure we will speak soon, my love.
Thank you so much for having me, Nerida. It was a pleasure.
Okay, that is it from us for today for the Enquiry podcast. All of the links that you're going to want to find is going to be underneath this episode. So jump along and make sure that you're following the people who do join us for the Enquiry podcast. I'm sure you'll agree they are absolutely phenomenal, and it is my absolute pleasure to be able to have them come in and share their wisdom with everybody. If you're wanting to know what I'm up to, jump onto my website, neridamills.com, and you can check out all of my opportunities to get involved, be they free things or programs or events. You can always come along and say hi. I would love to see you.